Good evening and welcome to Ideas at Work and Beyond. Your normal host, Ivan, is producing the show today, and so he's asked me to guest host, and it's my pleasure to do that. This evening, we're very fortunate to have actually a Danbury resident, Dick Foley. Dick Foley was a 5-term member of the State Assembly, representing Oxford, Southbury, part of Middlebury, and part of Naugatuck. He also served for 4 years as the state chairman of the Republican Party. He was also a member, as a result of that, of the National Republican Committee, one of only 170 members nationally. And he's agreed to come out on this somewhat inclement evening and have a bit of a discussion. So thanks a lot for coming. Appreciate it.
Good to be here, Marty.
All right. Well, glad you're here. Tonight we want to talk a little bit, in addition to whatever calls come in on topics, we want to talk a little bit about the national presidential campaign and the candidates that are coming up, both Democrat and Republican, and how you see this shaping out. I know you've done some work on some of these campaigns nationally, I know with John McCain, and I'd like to get your sort of view of the candidates that are out there and where you see them falling.
Sure. I mean, in interest of full disclosure, I was one of the co-chairmen of the Connecticut effort in 2000, the McCain campaign, and I'm all likelihood going to be there again
now,
this time.
Refresh my memory. John McCain, I believe, under your tutelage, carried the state of Connecticut.
Well, not under my tutelage. He carried the state of Connecticut.
He did say, okay.
Wasn't under my tutelage. It was the only closed primary that Senator won. By closed, in politics, as all professions, we have different terms, and an open primary in politics is one where anyone can vote. Okay. Republicans, unaffiliates, in some cases even Democrats. A closed primary is where just the party members vote. So in this case, it was Republicans only voting. Okay. That's the Connecticut law. Okay. This was the only closed primary that John McCain won in 2000. Okay. So it's quite.
Well, you have to take some credit for that.
Sure, but what was under my...
It's a saying, success has 1,000 fathers and failure is always an orphan, so you would be one of those fathers. I would,
of thousands.
Okay.
Of thousands.
But anyways, how do you see the candidates shaping up?
Well, certainly there's been a little surge here with Giuliani the last 90 days or so. I expect that's going to begin to peak, and I think it already actually has begun to peak. There are a lot of questions surrounding the Giuliani candidacy. Clearly, McCain is out there. He's back in Iowa as of today. Got his bus fired up again with the Straight Talk Express.
I saw that today. Yeah, the Straight Talk Express is getting.
Actually, there's 4 buses.
There are 4 buses.
There's actually 4 buses, not just one bus, because logistically you have problems.
Now you might know better that was this always the plan to refire up the Straight Talk Express, or is this something that they're trying to resurrect?
I think it's a resurrection.
Really? This wasn't the master plan?
No. In politics, a master plan is good for about 3 days.
Okay.
That's about it. After that, there's no plan.
Okay.
You're constantly vamping in campaigns, adapting to the changing terrain, and it changes quickly by news cycle. It changes. So he's got that going now, which I think is good for him. I think he's comfortable with it. The Romney candidacy is clearly is out there, and his position. The problem with the Romney has is that he could almost live with the flip-flop position, but he's in the flip-flop-flip position.
Okay.
So he's had 3 different positions on gay marriage. He's had 3 different positions on abortion. He's had 3 different positions on stem cell research.
Okay.
I don't care what your position is, whatever it is. That's good for you.
Right.
But you can't confuse people by continually just bouncing all over the place, because at that point your credibility is shot. There are a bunch of other folks that are looking. There's a congressman named Duncan Hunter in California, who's served the country very well. There's a congressman named Tancredo from Colorado. Right. There's Governor Huckabee of Arkansas, who's a good fellow. Senator Brownback from Kansas. There's Oh my God, there's more. There's a couple more.
There's one guy,
Jim Gilmore from
that's what I was going to say.
Virginia, who's
Yeah.
looking at it.
Former governor of
Virginia.
Yeah.
And there is the most recent addition is Senator Fred Thompson,
Okay.
or former
Yeah.
Senator Fred Thompson.
And mark it down here. Newt Gingrich is going to get in the race as well.
Well,
When you go to focus on the family and have a mea culpa about some irregularities in his marriage, I'd say you're clearing
Which
the deck
marriage?
for a run. I think it was the
third or fourth?
I think it was the second.
Oh, okay.
It was the second
I wasn't
previous
sure.
to the third. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's a bit of a
You have a
clearing of the air
scorecard when
there.
you keep score of these things?
You really have to. With all these candidates, there have been quite a few marriages, especially for whatever reason on the Republican side. I mean, Rudy's in for two or three.
That's because Hillary won't divorce him.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the Democrats because they have their own special concerns. But it's quite a field for the Republicans. I mean, it's quite a broad field. There's a broad selection.
I didn't mean to not to mention Newt. I like Newt on a personal basis. One time, my wife worked for him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she and I like the fact that he has big ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's run.
You don't think he's going to run?
No. And part
So
of the
we
problem.
like put a gentleman's bet on that.
Sure.
Okay, so today is March 15th.
Gambling is illegal in Connecticut.
No, this is going to be we'll bet a Coca-Cola.
A Coca-Cola.
I say Newt's in.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see how
Coca-Cola,
we-
you're on.
Okay.
By the way, gambling is still illegal in Connecticut.
It's just a soft drink.
The point of the matter is that is what happened today in California has more direct impact in this race than people would like to understand.
Okay.
California moved its primary today.
Yeah, I saw it.
And
Moved it up 4 months.
so it was one of the two latest in the country.
Right.
Now on February 5th, you will have maybe 1/3 of all the delegates being available
Wow.
on one day.
It's over. It's over in a day, isn't it?
Well, it's over it'll be over in 3 weeks. Connecticut is sitting here on March the 5th,
Right.
and the legislature should move to change it immediately. It makes no sense.
It's an afterthought at that point in the state of Connecticut.
I mean, I think people in Connecticut, and I think people, first of all, I think people in politics, legislators, would like to see candidates in here campaigning.
Yeah.
Okay, other than just going to a Greenwich fundraiser.
Yeah.
Like to see them in person.
They come in they want to dip into the till.
Well, Connecticut's a
But,
cash cow, yeah.
yeah.
Cash cow when it comes to that stuff, and both parties, ply their trade heavily in Fairfield County,
Yeah.
and that's to be expected. But I like to see them out someplace else.
Yeah.
And the legislature could change this right now, in the next few weeks, and I would suggest that we have a primary on something like Saturday after the 5th.
Okay.
Let's do it on a Saturday.
Okay.
Let's do it from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. Let's do a nice short schedule, so we don't want to put a lot of burden on the registrar's offices and on the people who work at the polls, poll
Okay.
workers.
Okay.
Let's do it in and out and get it over with.
All right.
And
Hold on. That might be the legislator right now.
yeah,
They could be
we'll
calling.
find out.
Hold on one second. Caller, you're in the air.
In or on?
Caller, you're on.
How you doing?
Good.
I want a question about Ron Paul. What's your opinion of him?
Ron Paul. Yeah, well, my opinion is he's an interesting guy. Okay, and I like that because he's his own kind of guy. I'm not sure this will be running as a Republican or as a Libertarian again. He ran as a Libertarian in 88, I think, and came back to Congress maybe 10 years ago, and he's looking to get in, but it'll be interesting. I mean, I like the libertarian philosophy, so I'm sort of a fan.
Caller, what's your impression of Ron Paul? I think we lost him.
Okay.
Okay. You got to help me out. Who's Ron Paul?
Ron Paul is a you need a bigger cheat sheet.
Okay.
Ron Paul is a congressman from Houston, Texas area,
Okay.
who is a very much of a libertarian
Okay.
when it comes to issues. He is he ran for president. I'm pretty sure it was '88, and the Libertarian ticket.
Okay.
He had been in Congress, ran as a Libertarian, and now came back to Congress and is now looking to run again. He may very well.
Now, will some of these marginal Green Party candidates, Libertarian, did they tend to siphon off votes from the Democrat or for the Republican?
Well, the Libertarians, I've always thought, is pretty much down the middle, a little bit of each. Okay, because they believe in personal freedom on all levels, which means if you want to be a capitalist, go ahead and be a capitalist. We don't want to tax you a lot. But oh, by the way, if you want to smoke grass, good for you too.
Yeah.
So they're starting.
Some people have said that Ralph Nader, at least in 2000, siphoned off enough votes from the Democrats that they assured that George Bush was voted in.
There's certainly it certainly is a case that has been made, and that may in fact be the case, may not be the case. The answer is it's hard to speculate on what voters would do or who they might or might not vote for, and you can't tell. Those voters might just might have stayed home. Okay, not show up on election day. Okay. We should also, I guess, in passing, mention Chuck Hagel. So we get to an even 2 dozen on our list.
Okay. Yeah.
Chuck Hagel is a senator from Nebraska. In fact,
former Green Beret, highly decorated.
Yeah, Vietnam vet. And it is probably the closest thing to an anti-war Republican that exists right now.
Yeah.
And as such, I think he'd add a lot to the race if he got in. I think he should get it. Not that I'm going to support.
Now he came out and said, "I have this big announcement. Get the cameras there. Rent the ballroom at the hotel." And it was, "I'm announcing that I'm considering I might announce something."
Yeah.
Right.
He was the last Monday, I think it was, this past Monday, biggest political bust I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
He had the world right in the palm of his hand. He could have hit a home run, and he balked.
A higher one was Janet Pirro. Remember her announcement where she didn't have her speech? She was missing pages 7, 8, and 9.
There have been
that was a bit of a bust too.
There have been worse. I mean, there was a guy. Just to underscore that I'm getting too old. There's a guy who in 1990 ran for governor. In Connecticut. His name was Bruce Morrison. Bruce was a congressman from the New Haven area. Okay. And he wanted to he didn't want to do the normal staged announcement. He wanted to, they didn't want to go to a hall or from a city hall, rent a ballroom or go to a
man
hall.
of the people.
So he was out in his district. I believe it was in East Haven.
Okay.
And with the reporter, and the reporter said, "Are you going to?" And he made his announcement right then and there, in front of the dog pound.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yes, the dog's howling in the back. I'm going to run for governor. Oh.
Great stage.
It was wonderful stagecraft. That by the way, that was the highlight of the high point of the campaign. It was downhill from there. It was as good as it got.
He got the canine vote, but that was it. All right. Well, let's talk about the heavy hitters on the Republican side, and I guarantee we'll get to the Democrat side as well. But you have John McCain, who I mean, if you were going to ask 10 Republicans walking down the street a year ago, they would have said that he's the odds-on favorite.
The answer is correct. A year ago, he was the odds-on.
Okay, but I mean, he has high favorable ratings. I personally like him. He's a war hero. I just finished his book, Faith of My Fathers, where he talked about his time in Hanoi Hilton and how he could, because his father was an admiral in the Navy, he could have been released early, but he wasn't. So he spent 5.5 years in a Vietnamese prisoner of war camp, and he could have been released early. So he's a patriot. He's a national hero. What happened? He used to be the go-to guy. He used to be the sort of anti-establishment, running, against Washington. A bit of the darling of the left. A bit. If Bush is going to take the right, he was going to be a little bit left of him.
Well, the campaign finance reform clearly was one of his big deals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that seems to be well received, right? I mean, that was bipartisan.
Except the folks who are taking it to court. People who are suing in the Supreme Court aren't receiving it too well.
Yeah, but generally speaking, campaign finance reform is a good thing. Get money out of politics, that kind of thing. Although I'm not sure it works, but
Yeah, well look, I guess the question is about McCain, and clearly he's caught between a rock and a hard place. And one of the problems here is the following, that he has been the maverick for a while. Republicans historically don't nominate mavericks. Republicans nominate people whose turn has come.
Right.
And it was
Bob Dole, for example.
Bob Dole is an excellent example. Okay. Bush Sr. after Reagan was another. Okay. Even though the political differences between Reagan and Bush Sr. were significant, and there were other people who were closer to the Reagan philosophy, he just it was just his turn. And that creates a problem. So what
Cheney's not running.
Cheney's not running. This is the first time in many a moon where we have openings on both sides with no vice president or president running. Our incumbents running. Yeah. So it's a unique time in history, and the fact of the matter is that John Senator McCain has moved towards the middle a little bit on these things to be more encompassing of the Bush folks and others. He pretty much had to do that. I'm not sure he had a choice. When he did that, you lose some on the other side. So
you're saying he's moving a little bit more to the right, John McCain is, or he's moving a little bit more to the left?
But a little bit more to the right, to the mainstream of the Republican Party. Okay. And that is there's a lot of examples of that, and some that turn people off. I mean, they went down to see Jerry Falwell, and some folks got upset with that.
But didn't he also boycott that conservative conference where he didn't go to that, and some of the other candidates?
Some others did, and he didn't go, and he didn't go, and he still got 15% of the votes, even though Mitt Romney bust people in and paid for them to vote.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how that works.
All right. So, John McCain, you still think? I mean, it's a long time before this thing's going to be wrapped up. He has time to retool, re-energize.
But the biggest, I'm not sure I'd want to be the favorite a year out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's sustainable.
Yeah.
The reason it's not sustainable is that every other candidate is looking at you, and you now become the source or the focus of their anger. Yeah. So they know that they have to throw rocks at you to get to where you are. Right. So nobody's going to throw a rock at the guy in second place.
Okay. All right. So he's safely in the pack. Okay. Rudy Giuliani. He's surging. Everyone loves Rudy right now. He's the guy. He's the darling.
He has a lot of things to offer, as a candidate. I mean, clearly his personal resume is hero-like, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. And he's a as a person, for what he did in New York, I think he deserves a lot of credit and a lot of praise. Yeah. He has other problems, okay, and right now those have been overlooked. That's where that is the opening that McCain needs. But clearly, the three marriages bother some people. Mm-hmm. Clearly, the fact that you're married to a woman for 15 years the first time, and you get an annulment. Apparently the marriage still didn't happen. that 15 years is like a Bobby Ewing dream from Dallas.
Right.
Clearly, the position on gay rights has some impact with some voters. Clearly, the position on abortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the political expert, but generally speaking, the primary voters on the Republican side are going to be a little bit more conservative. The primary voters on the Democrat side are going to be a little bit more liberal. So when
the only word I would debate in that is the word little. I think
a lot. Extreme.
I think both.
Okay.
Both.
Because I mean, the video that I'm seeing going around is a younger-looking Rudy Giuliani at a dais saying, not only am I in favor of abortion, but I feel like the taxpayers should pay for abortions. And I'm sure that's not playing well with some of the primary voters in Iowa and other bits.
Yeah, and the thing that keeps the thing that keeps Rudy alive in this thing, though, and by the way, I'm not offering any opinion on whether the pro-life approach. That's up for voters to decide. That's important enough to me. the thing that keeps Rudy alive every day, and maybe even longer than he should be, is Hillary. Because those Republican voters, okay, who may not like Rudy and may not like those positions that Rudy has, just hate Hillary.
Okay, hold on one second. On that note, hold on. Okay, caller, you on the air?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Marty, and how you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Good to hear you again.
Yeah, all right. Listen, people get mad at me when I ask them, why are you so enthused about Hillary Clinton? Why do you like Rudy Giuliani? What are they going to do for us, for people in our industry, or for working class people, or for small business people like ourselves? And they get ticked at me. They get this look on their face. They don't know what to say to me, Mr. Foley. They just like have this blank look on their face. At that point, they get mad because I embarrass them. What do you like about Hillary Clinton or Rudy Giuliani or the other ones? They don't know what to say. They just
what difference is it going to make in your life eventually if one or the other one is president? Is that what you're saying?
Right, at one point, but they don't know. It's like they're voting on the personalities. If somebody smiles and waves and looks friendly. However, my friends who are members of unions know why they're voting for Hillary Clinton, because state and local municipal unions, these people, Clinton, they're going to raise our taxes and give it to them. So they know why they're voting for Hillary Clinton.
What you get a lot of times, especially true in presidential races, is the following. It's like when it gets to be end of September, beginning of October, and the World Series is coming up, and people start paying a little bit of attention to baseball, and for some reason or another, they pick a team to root for. Even though they have no connection with that team, they're in Oregon, and they think the Red Sox are just swell. Or they're in New Mexico, and they're a big Yankees fan. There's no connection whatsoever, but for some reason, they feel a heartbeat there. And that's part of what's happening. People just start picking. It's like picking a team to root for. That's what they're doing now.
Now, what's going on with McCain? Let's see, Mr. McCain. You're for regularizing the illegal aliens that are here. You're for gun control.
McCain? I don't think aren't too many guys endorsed by the NRA for gun control.
McCain has got on TV several times that he's for gun control. All right, and he's for
regularizing these
illegal aliens. So where is he? He's in the toilet. I'll see you guys later. Excellent show.
All right, thank you. Good. No, you were saying about McCain. He's
been endorsed by the NRA when he ran for the U.S. Senate and the House.
Right.
So I mean, what happens on to talk about issues gun control. It's like talking about. Well, what are we talking about? Are we talking about all guns? Are we talking about assault weapons? What are we talking about? And proponents and opponents just want to be bookends on an argument where they have the 5% on either end, 90% is in the middle, or looking for something a little sort of in between.
All right.
Okay, so do I think that, for example, that if somebody were to outlaw, which we haven't had, the so-called cop killer bullets?
Yeah,
that's I'm
all for it.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's gun. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the other. Let's jump to the other side.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we got Barack Obama. Now I listen to this guy. I don't agree on his positions.
Well, he's an Illinois guy, so
he's an Illinois guy. I love the announcement on the Bears game. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that.
That was great. That's close to my heart. Being a Bears fan, he's a Chicago guy. I think there's a lot of negatives that are going to come out eventually, but I'm telling you, I'm liking his speeches. And then when you juxtapose him with Hillary Clinton, I saw a piece where Hillary is, I'm a woman, you're a man. I'm a liberal, you're a conservative. I'm against or I'm for a national health program. You're against it. She seems to be a divider a bit. Obama comes along, and he's like a breath of fresh air, and he's coming, let's rise above, I'm going to rise above the fray, let's be a uniter. It's impressive. Hold on one second. Caller, in the air?
Good evening. I'd like to know what Mr. Foley thinks about Fred Thompson. I think Fred Thompson, if he comes out, that man is going to be an absolute winner because he is a true conservative. I think John McCain has too much baggage. Mr. McCain and his Gang of 14 and his First Amendment abuses with his proposals about campaign finance. The man has done everything in his power to overturn what is good in this country. He has even fought against what we do in Guantanamo Bay. The man is...
You're talking about John McCain?
That's right. I want to know what you think of Fred Thompson. This is a true conservative. He was an excellent senator. He is...
Pretty good district attorney on TV?
Well, it has nothing to do with his,
sure it has to do with it.
Being on television as an actor. I'm talking about...
But caller, who has ever heard of an actor becoming president? That's just ridiculous.
Well, you know,
that would never work.
The last one I heard of was Ronald Reagan, and he did more for this country than the whole passel before him and the ones that are now attempting to run. I happen to like Giuliani, but I'd like to know what Mr. Foley's thoughts are on Mr. Thompson.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for calling in. Well, Fred Thompson?
I think he is...
He could play a president on TV.
He could play on anything on TV.
Very good.
Was he a sub-commander on Hunt for Red October?
Yeah, he was.
And by the way, the fact that he is an actor does have something to do with it, and it has to do with it from the positive standpoint, not from the negative, from the positive, because it creates an aura about him, an impression. He knows stagecraft. He knows things that are important to know as a candidate.
There's just a little quip, but Ronald Reagan, of course, the actor who was president, the day he was shot, he turned to the doctors in the room. He said, "All things being equal, I'd like to try that take one more time from the hotel." He was good that way. Sorry, go ahead.
And in fact, Connecticut was the home to the first actor politician, who was John Davis Lodge, who was governor of Connecticut, who was played in a couple of Shirley Temple movies.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See?
And there have been others who are senators and so forth. Thompson.
Does
I believe
Bono count as an? Okay, we're getting far afield. Sonny and Cher.
No, I'm doing fine. You're getting far afield.
Okay, sorry. Go right ahead.
Fred Thompson, besides, I believe he did 2 terms as senator from Tennessee. He is a formidable candidate if he gets in. I think he's going to get in. Okay, and I think it's going to be an interesting race. He's got the most interesting credential, though, in his resume that he has. The absolute most interesting one was that 35 years ago, he served as an associate counsel on the Watergate committee.
Is that right?
Yes, he's trained as a lawyer. He was way before he was an actor. He was a lawyer doing serious law, because you don't end up in that slot.
So he was a prosecuting attorney?
No. He was a counsel.
On the defense.
He was a counsel. There's no.
Because I'm trying to picture where was Hillary on that? Because wasn't
she was
on
the same exact committee?
They were colleagues on the same committee trying to
opposite sides.
Opposite sides.
She was representing the Democrats. He was representing Republicans.
Wow.
So
we need some video. We need some footage of that.
I haven't seen a tape. I think I've seen a picture.
Wow, okay. That would be great.
That's just those little strange things, strange anomalies of history.
That would be great to get a shot at. I mean, if they end up being the ultimate candidates, which they could be.
The odd couple.
Yeah. Caller in the air.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you guys got a good show going so far.
Thank you.
Hey, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to sit there and say that I'm going to vote for Fred Thompson if we get to go all the way, just because I'm a big Law and Order fan.
Okay.
Keep those residuals coming in.
Who's the guy on 24?
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer. I think if Jack Bauer ran,
Jack would win.
I think he would probably win. I mean, I like his sort of direct approach with the dastardly terrorists.
I want to go back to the lady you called earlier about McCain and the Guantanamo Bay. If anybody,
yeah, I mean that was a caller. I mean she wasn't too high on McCain.
Well, that's okay. She's entitled. But let's make sure the other viewers understand that John McCain decided we should, with not just him himself, but with others, decided that they should put into law things that can and cannot be done regarding torturing of prisoners that are held by America. We got to hold these guys for a lot of good reasons. If anybody has a right to sit down and write that law, it's John McCain. I'm sorry the lady's not happy with it. My guess is if she was hanging on the wall at the Hanoi Hilton with John for the year or two he was hanging on the wall, her opinion might be different.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just finished his book, and I think one thing he says is torture doesn't work. Some level it doesn't work. We're gonna take one more call, and then we're gonna take a break. Hold on one second. Caller, you in the air?
Hey, Marty.
Yes.
Hi, Gloria. How are you?
Oh, Gloria, good. Thank you for calling.
I'd like to take umbrage with Mr. Foley. You know, John McCain, everybody thinks John McCain is the greatest thing since Pepsi Cola. I happen to like Coke myself. But Mr. McCain did not do anything other than step on the constitutional rights of American citizens when he offered up habeas corpus to these people who were in Guantanamo. Now, nobody ever proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was any kind of torture perpetrated on anyone in Guantanamo. And let's remember that the people who are in Guantanamo at the present time are not part of a formal army. They are not covered by the Geneva Convention.
Correct.
We've got to get away from all of this happy nonsense, and it's time that people started to understand that we cannot namby-pamby these people. We are in a severe situation here, and it's called the security of this country. And if Mr. McCain does not understand that as a former prisoner of war in Vietnam, where the Democrats did everything in their power to destroy the American, whatever was going on there at the time, he just stepped all over it by giving people access to our courts. They have no right. He did this, and plus he did some other things. My comment, Mr. Foley, I'd like you to comment on it. Thank you, Marty. Have a good evening.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Sure. Well, my comment is that's not what happened, okay? And the reason that there has not been any fair and provable charge that's happened is because there's been no trials. How can you have a fair and open process where you can prove something if you don't have the trial? That's number one. Number two, they do not have automatic right to habeas corpus. It just isn't the way it is. What his resolution talked about was simply the torturing of prisoners. And we're not talking, we are talking about some pretty significant things. I mean, that are done. This is not namby-pamby where they sort of pull your finger and think something's going to happen. You're talking about electrodes being strapped to people's bodies, and you're talking about electric shocks, and you're talking about whole. Now, and do I have any sympathy for the terrorists? Hell no. Okay, but I'm more than happy to let them sit down in Guantanamo Bay the rest of their life and rot. Doesn't bother me in the least. If you can prove it, and you got to be able to prove some of this stuff. Just saying doesn't make it so.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with the rest of our group. Thank you very much for watching.